Go Res. Triple R.
Hello class, my name is Michelle Loosley, and our experiment today is going to be about electroplating of metals. This experiment can be done at home using various materials around the house. Before we begin the experiment, let's discuss what electroplating of metals is. When electroplating is done, the source in the metal is the anode, made from the pure metal you want to coat the cathode with. The metal is dissolved into a solution in the anode and condensed into the cathode. This transfers the metal from one electrode to the other. Acid is sometimes added to control the form of metal condensed and to help dissolve the metal from the anode. Now before we start, let's determine what our cathode and anode is for this experiment. The anode for this experiment will be the copper penny, since we want to coat the quarter with the copper, and the quarter will be the cathode. Now let's determine what materials we'll need for this experiment. Now remember students, safety first. Wear goggles for eye protection. First, a copper penny. Pre-1980s is the best since it's still pure copper. A quarter and a plastic cup. Ensure it is not metal or anything conductive. A 1.3 volt or greater AAA or AA battery. Tape. 2 short wires. 2 binder clips. Distilled water. Do not use tap water, since tap water will create a dirty copper color, and 2 teaspoons of vinegar. To begin the experiment, you need to make sure your wires have bare ends. Next, you'll want to remove the paint off the binder clips at the contact point. Next, wrap the wire around a binder clip. Repeat for each clip. Clip the binder clips on opposite sides of the cup at the same level. Put the quarter in one of the binder clips and the penny in the other, ensuring they're at the same level. Next, add enough distilled water so that both coins are mostly submerged. Ensure that the binder and the wires do not get wet. Add 2 teaspoons of distilled vinegar. The distilled vinegar is acetic acid. This helps the metal move to the cathode. Connect the positive end of the battery to the anode and the negative end to the cathode. Just in case you forget, the penny is the anode and the quarter is the cathode. This part's a little tricky. You may have to coil the end of the wire to allow for a good connection. Use tape to secure the wire to both ends of the battery. So now comes the tricky part. We're going to go ahead and coil the wire. And remember that the anode side gets the negative side of the battery, and that's the penny if you forget. And this is the tricky part. We're going to grab some tape. And we're going to connect the wire to the back part of the battery, the negative side. You might have to use 2 hands, it can be tricky. Like that. Now we're going to do the quarter, the cathode side. Okay, and then to ensure that we got a good connection, just take your tape and just wrap it around. If we don't have a good connection, the experiment will not work. Okay, and that's all there is. Next, you have to wait 48 hours for the electroplating to be complete. There will be no visible activity for the first several hours. So after 48 hours, this is what your quarter should look like. You can see the copper coating down at the bottom. There's a black line. That's where the connection site was at. If you flip it over, it's the same way. You have your copper. And that's a experiment gone right. And remember students, anyone can do chemistry. Just safety first.
Wait, you gotta make sure that your lab is safe before you make a measurement, scope out the space. Got your gloves pulled up, got your goggles on. Don't wanna be another lab experiment.